What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another new video. And today we are talking Darlington. We are talking the Southern 500. Does not matter the time of year, does not matter when it is, if it's the regular season finale, if it's the first playoff race, who cares? It doesn't matter the car. This race is always a banger. It was a banger last year. Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe duking it out. Two non-playoff drivers, or actually at that point, neither were locked into the playoffs. It was a regular season race, a regular season finale. Briscoe wins, locks himself into the playoffs. Now it is the first, once again, the first race in the round of 16. I cannot wait. Should be a lot of sleeper guys that have a good chance to go out there and get a result, get it done. We've seen Eric Jones win this race twice. I mentioned Briscoe, Brad Keselowski won at Darlington last year. Like this race can provide spark winners. This track really could provide winners just out of the blue, and especially the Southern 500 because it's a race of attrition. It's a long, taxing race on the drivers, and for me, one of my favorites. And I am excited. 6 p.m. On Sunday evening, of course, Labor Day being Monday. So, we get to stay up late and we get to watch a damn good race, which this will be. Before we get in to the bets, couple things. Calling all New England fans. I'm going to do this again. Calling all New England race fans or fans wherever you're watching from, and you want to watch playoff racing in the round of 12, hit that link down in the description below. If you hit that link, you can buy tickets for New Hampshire Motor Speedway. A lot of people like to talk crap about New Hampshire. I don't know why. It's provided shock winners. It's provided good racing. It was the damn first track ever that we saw racing on the wet weather tires. It's basically still sort of in the rain. A lot of fun last year at New Hampshire. Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, Larson, Byron, Elliott, whoever your guy is, they will be racing in the round of 12 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Get your tickets now. Get your tickets today. Link in the description down below. That is a custom-made link by yours truly, Johnny on the Track. You click that, you get a nice chunk of tickets, and you go watch some good, hard racing. Okay. And the other thing, of course, want to once again thank our sponsor and our partner, Slice Seltzer. Every time I look, Slice is like somewhere new. And they keep growing and growing and growing in my home state of Rhode Island. I feel like they're going to keep growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. If you want to try Slice, it's still available in Rhode Island, but you can keep track of Slice and the progress they are making via Instagram at Slice Seltzer on Instagram. They also have a TikTok account at Sip Slice. And of course, they've got their website, which has got really, really cool merch. That's www.sliceseltzer.com, sliceseltzer.com. You go there. You can check out the merch, learn a little bit more about them, and also give them some follow on social. Again, it is a low-cal, gluten-free, no added sugar or sweetener vodka-based seltzer. And the white peach flavor is the one that they've got out right now, and it is spectacular. I've had it plenty of times now, and it's really, really refreshing. One that, summer's coming to an end, yes, but that's honestly a drink to me that I feel like it will be refreshing in, the fall, even in the winter. So sliceseltzer.com, check them out. And thank you, Slice, for being a part of Johnny on the Track. Okay, Darlington, Southern 500. Here we go. I'm going to start with a prop bet. Let's go right to Toyota. Okay, Chase Briscoe, I mentioned, defending champion, very high on Chase. Denny Hamlin, winner earlier this year at Darlington, 23-11. Had two solid good cars. Tyler Reddick led a lot of laps here earlier this year. Tyler Reddick led 42 laps, finished fifth in the first stage, ninth in the second stage. I think he's going to have a good chance to win this thing. I don't have Tyler Reddick getting out of the first round because I just think overall luck hasn't gone his way. He's been kind of up and down, really hasn't showed dominant speed. Looked to be maybe like he was on the right track at Richmond and then something goes wrong. Obviously, I felt like, that's kind of been the MO of this team, but I do think there's upside in betting Toyota and having a guy like Tyler Reddick on your card, technically, I guess. And then Bubba Wallace obviously has had some solid results in the next gen era at um, at Darlington. He has an 88.6 driver rating. He's got a top five and four top tens in seven next gen races. Starts around eighth, finishes around 13th. That's the average finish for him. 88.6 puts him in the top eight for active drivers in terms of driver rating at this track. So Bubba Wallace is another guy. You bet that Toyota. And then you've got Eric Jones and John Hunter. And Eric Jones now is a two-time Southern 500 winner, has won it in this certain car. Yes, it was when it was Petty GMS, but still, I mean, same ownership basically. They were with Chevy, but they weren't really getting any support at that time when he won it. And sure enough, here they are, with in a Toyota making strides. Eric Jones and John Hunter, who has had really solid results. He had a top 10 here in his rookie season in Cup, and overall, has been close in Xfinity, has won here in the truck. So John Hunter is one I'm going to keep my eye on. I think he can have a big upset kind of top 10 day, especially with this race being the 500, where, speed isn't everything at Darlington. It's managing your stuff, it's finding the right line. It's, attrition, again, staying out of the craziness. Restarts are wild. It's tough to pass. You've got to be aggressive. So, there's a lot of factors that come into play at the Southern 500. Speed is not everything. And so that's why we've seen Eric Jones and, Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch and again, I'm talking about Kyle Busch last year, right? Not some of the best cars be up there because speed is not everything at this track. So Toyota to me is the prop to focus on, but I'm also going to be targeting some Chevrolets. So I mentioned Chase Briscoe. 13-1 is the number on DraftKings Sportsbook for last year's Southern 500 winner. He's in form. He's in a JGR car, trying to defend his crown. I like him for the pole because if he wins the pole, he'd be the first driver ever to win the pole at all four crown jewel races in a single season. I like him for the pole and I like him for the win because to me, this is the under the radar guy that has just been consistent, had a terrific year, gotten better and better and better and more comfortable with his crew chief. Chase Briscoe is one to watch. I have him making a deep playoff run. I think it starts with a good Southern 500. Chase Briscoe, 13-1 for last year's Southern 500 winner in a JGR Toyota. Okay, William Byron, another guy, let it slip away. He let it slip away back in the spring. He led 243 of 297 laps earlier this season. It was like the 600. Honestly, there was a lot of races where Byron looked dominant and couldn't get the job done after the 500. He did end up winning another race to get his second win, but Byron led 243 at a 297 laps. He had the fastest lap. He's plus 650 on Rhode Island Sportsbook. He's plus 600 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So I would shop around, try to get him close to that 650 number. But he's going to have a heck of a car. He started on pole, was lights out for most, if basically just about all of that race, he was lights out. Ended up losing to Denny Hamlin. But William Byron at this track, he has kind of showed out at Darlington a couple times. He obviously has a win, probably should have two. He's got an average finish of 9.1, which I believe is it's the best here in the next gen era, only behind or in front of Christopher Bell, who's got a 9.6, Denny Hamlin with a 10.3, Tyler Reddick with a 10.7, Gibbs 13.8, Wallace 13.1. So I mentioned some of those guys going back on the Toyota. You can see a lot of these top guys in terms of average finish are Toyota drivers. But Byron win 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 328 laps led, which is the most in the next gen era here at Darlington. Best average driver rating, which is 112. So much going for William Byron. Again, I think there's some added motivation for letting this one slip away, and would be big, would be really big to capture Southern 500 for the 24 car. Byron plus 650 is another outright for me. Then I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski for an outright. Four top tens in seven next gen races here. He's got the win. He won last spring, was really good in the spring race here early. A little bit of trouble, didn't give him the result he deserved, but RFK started stage one. They looked red hot. They looked good. I think Brad's going to come to play throughout the playoffs. I think RFK is going to come to play here in the playoffs, even though they are not part of the playoffs. I think they have something to prove, not getting those cars in. I mean, we saw Chris Buescher win for them when they weren't in the playoffs. Ryan Preece is obviously getting closer and closer and closer. And then Brad Keselowski, like, really has shown speed now through pretty much all summer leading up to this race now. So, like the track history, like the recent speed from RFK, and like kind of the added motivation to get a win, and show that they're still one of those organizations that it feels like they belong with these other kind of big dog organizations, kind of making that leap. Because Trackhouse, who I think is pretty much on an even playing field with them, Trackhouse has got two drivers in, and they've won a lot of races this season with Ross Chastain and SVG. So I think that has a little goes a little extra, and of course an RCR cars in the playoffs as well. So big weekend for Brad Keselowski for RFK. I think Brad is going to show out. I like him for an outright. Brad Keselowski, the number for him is 28-1. So I think that's a pretty damn good number to get Kesy at. And then Larson is another guy I've been looking at. Not 100% sure if I want to take the final bait right now on Larson. He is the favorite at plus 550 on DraftKings. Let's see. What is he on Rhode Island? Give me one sec. Getting this up. Overall, I just feel like, 550 here as well. Overall, I feel like Larson is sort of due for a big race, like a big race. And he was good at Daytona last weekend, but I feel like Larson is due for a killer performance. One of these, like, kind of Byron-esque where he leads like 200 out of 300 laps or whatever, something like that. I'm ready. I think Larson is just, he's kind of coasted a little bit, and we're waiting for another breakout performance. I think Larson can give us one this weekend. So, again, waiting because I don't love the number, but I don't know how much that's going to move, quite frankly, especially with Larson, who had a good Daytona run and now can qualify later in qualifying and give him that, like, kind of little extra edge of advantage out there. And then I mentioned the legacy guys. John Hunter Nemechek, man, is one I think we've got to keep our eye on. A lot of people are high on Eric Jones. I kind of want to shift a little bit. I kind of want to look at John Hunter Nemechek for a top 10. Again, hasn't, run here very much in the next gen era, but only 3 races, doesn't have a great average finish, but has had good, solid results. And I feel like Legacy is building each and every week, getting a little bit faster, having a little bit more speed. And, you look at this track history past just Cup or the next gen, here's some damn good results and runs by John Hunter Nemechek. It seems like this is a track that fits his driving style well. He's always kind of been best at these mile-and-a-half tracks. And so to me, yes, you can be high on Eric Jones. I feel like a lot of people are going to make the Eric Jones 50-1, whatever it is. I get it, kind of big underdog play. But I would look more at like a top 10, top 5 for John Hunter Nemechek, especially this being the Southern 500, which often can get a little wild, late restarts, something like that. And John Hunter Nemechek, right on the edge. I like him for a top 10, maybe a tiny bit of play up against the top 5. Now, I could be totally wrong here, But that's where my head is at a little bit, leaning a little bit more towards the John Hunter Nemechek side of things than than the Eric Jones side of things. And then a couple other guys that I think are going to be fringe top 10 guys that I think we can look to get at plus money. Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch. Love them all. For Buescher has been spectacular here. He's got four top 10s in 7 races. So has done it more than half of the time, 5 top 20s. Average finish of 13.9, which is pretty darn good here. Ryan Preece, I mentioned, started second here in in the spring race, and again has just been really, really solid at the mile and a halfs overall this year. And Kyle Busch was so damn close to winning this thing last year. He's led 174 laps here in the next gen era at Darlington, which is like kind of baffling. 174 laps Kyle Busch has led, which puts him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But Truex is a part of this. So fifth in terms of active drivers. That's more than Chastain, more than Logano. On basically on par with a guy like Truex, who was a beast here. So Kyle Busch, an interesting play. 1 top 5, 3 top 10s. Doesn't have the best average finish because his bad is really bad. But overall, Kyle Busch, I think a top 10, maybe a top 5, some aggressive play like that, pretty solid result you could be looking at there. So those are the bets I'm going with right now. Again, main one, Toyota prop, Briscoe, Byron, Keselowski, maybe Larson for my outrights, and then some action on John Hunter Nemechek, Buescher, Preece, and Kyle Busch for like fringe, maybe top Chevys, top 10s, top 5s, that sort of thing. Some prop up plays for those guys. But want to know what you guys think? Put your thoughts in the comments section down below, your expectations for the Southern 500, who you're looking at, who you'll be betting on. Comment section down below. Give this video a like. It goes a long way for the channel, as you guys know. I say that every week. And, of course, please hit that subscribe button down below. You guys will see my playoff picks, round by round predictions, and my championship pick tomorrow, or I guess, yeah, late Wednesday. That video will come out, so make sure you check that out as well. But excited for the Southern 500. Should be a great race. And, of course, as I always say, let's go win some money.